Good afternoon. In just a few minutes, we will begin the commencement exercises. But before we do, I have some public service announcements. First, would you please take a moment now and silence your cell phones? Second, should you lose or find a cell phone or anything else, there's a lost and found in the upper commons by the main entrance to the school. Third, we have an air-conditioned room with drinks and refreshments for small children, should you need to take advantage of it during the ceremony. It's located in the faculty lounge, which is room 302, beyond the upper commons on the right, that direction. Finally, in the event of an emergency that necessitates evacuation of Hauser Auditorium, we will proceed as follows. Those seated on the front right will proceed up the aisles and out the side exit over here. Those seated in the front left will proceed out the main entrance doors. If you're seated behind the transverse aisle, please go up the nearest aisle and take one of the two back stairs on either side. If you take the staircase to my left, please exit the building through the side door. And if you take the staircase to my right, please exit through the main doors. Thank you, and we will begin in a few moments. Discovered that I'm trying to pull the other end. Does not work. Parents, family members, friends, trustees, faculty, and of course, the class of 2017, welcome to the 156th commencement exercises of the Pingry School. To begin, let me invite Miller Bliari, member of the class of 1952 and senior member of the faculty, to deliver the invocation. Mr. Bliari.
The musician Tom Petty once said, "Go after what you really love. Find a way to make it work for you, and then you will be a happy person." Some individuals do seem to know from an early age what they want to do, be a doctor, teacher, financier, but not everyone in this world is born knowing what they want to pursue in life. And that's okay. If you are a part of the second group, have patience. Try to find something about which you are passionate, that fulfills your spirit, that makes a positive difference to the world around you, that adds something to the human experience. Do that, and you will be happy every day.
Thank you, Mr. Bliari. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce the first of our speakers today, William DeGrande, President of the class of 2017, to deliver the class address. Will.
Dear parents and relatives, trustees and faculty, and fellow graduates, public speaking is one of my biggest fears. But for whatever inexplicable reason, year after year I sign up to run for student government only to realize, oh no, this means I have to make and write another speech. In fact, one of my most memorable moments was right here on stage during the student body president speeches of last year. That was the most nervous I have ever been in my entire life, even more than college interviews or any other quiz bowl tournament I've ever been in. I remember thinking that if I just kept talking, soon the speech would be a distant memory. Looking back, I realized it was over before I even knew what was happening. That pretty much sums up high school for me. I remember arriving at Pingry as a freshman, just like it was yesterday. I was, and still am, small. The school was big, and I was nothing short of overwhelmed. Since freshman year, I've grown so much as a person and a student in the blink of an eye. Fast forwarding through the tough moments is well and good, but sometimes it's the toughest moments that mean the most. I'm not gonna lie, high school was hard. There were ups and there were downs. There was stress and there was fun. And there was times I didn't love. But I do love Pingry and everything it taught me and gave me. So now, even though public speaking terrified me then and still terrifies me now, this isn't a moment where I'm going to hold my breath and wait for it to be over. Now, as I stand for one of the last times as a Pingry student, I'll try to cherish the moment and savor the few minutes I have left in my last speech. To the class of 2017, whether you have been here for 2 years, 13 years, or somewhere in between, I'm sure you can agree with me that Pingry has shaped your life. It's hard to believe that less than 4 years ago, we were sitting all the way up there as freshmen, and suddenly here we are, ready to receive our diplomas. The fact that our time here at Pingry has flown by hit me personally at our first peer group meeting in September of this school year. Rather than looking towards the older students to be role models, as I had done as a new student, my co-leader Julia and I had 8 wide-eyed freshmen looking at us for advice and support in navigating the challenging waters of high school. I don't know about the rest of you, but to me it's strange that here we are walking the line between feeling like the heroes of high school, yet feeling anxious and unprepared for the world of college. My parents used to tease me about wanting to stay at Pingry for hours after the school day ended. It wasn't just because of the fierce ping pong and foursquare wars in the physics wing, although I have to admit that was a huge part of it. As we all have seen firsthand, Pingry is a place that not only encourages, but cultivates constant progress and improvement. Not only do the students here always strive for self-advancement, but we've seen a lot of physical changes in the school as well. For the past 2 years, we've had continuous construction going on. Just over a few months ago, we saw piles of dirt and rocks turn into the BAC. It seems every day there's something new and exciting going on, whether it's a sporting event, a play, an art exhibit, or a talent show. I think I speak for all of us when I say, for the last number of years, Pingry has been a place for our ideas to turn into reality, a place where we could truly excel at our passions. We have national merit scholars, recruited Division I athletes, budding entrepreneurs, and loyal community servants among us. And the best part is, none of these are mutually exclusive. If these are any indication of how successful we are as a group in high school, imagine the possibilities of what we can accomplish in college. The limits are infinite. When I initially sat down to write this speech, I wanted to do the cliche, go into the world with the knowledge high school gave you message. But then I thought, we just have to look within our own class for inspiration. I want us all to be as fearless as Matt Peacock and Raina LeBourne when they blew people away singing in front of the whole school during the talent show. I want us to be as determined as Mary Pagano on the lacrosse field as she runs past opposing players before scoring goal after goal. I want us to be as energetic and supportive as Connor Beard when you hear his yes and see his Humans of Pingry photos. So as we go our separate ways, let's take the best of high school and make it even better in college. Do what you love, run with it, and never stop improving, just as Pingry taught you. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Our next speaker is Zachary Keller, president of the student body. Zach.
I'd say there's about a 50% chance my cat pops off during this speech, so. On behalf of my classmates, I'd like to begin by expressing our gratitude for everyone who helped us reach this moment. Thank you to the many Pingry teachers, administrators, staff members, and coaches who have dedicated their careers to education and played a critical role in shaping the extraordinary Pingry class of 2017, the fine young men and women seated beside me. Thank you to our families and friends who have supported us, encouraged us, driven us, and are here today in person or in spirit to celebrate with us. The expression, "we couldn't have done it without you," is a cliche. Saying it's a cliche is also a cliche. But guess what? It's true. On a personal note, I'd like to extend a special shout out to my great-grandfather, Papa Stanley, who was watching via webcast. You always said you wanted to see me graduate. Guess what? We're almost there. I'd like to share with you an article from the June 19th edition of the New York Times. June 19th, 1889, that is. Elizabeth, New Jersey. The Pingry Academy of this city held its annual commencement tonight at the Temple Opera House, which was filled with the best people of the city. The stage was handsomely decorated for the occasion. The opening prayer was followed by declamations, readings, and recitations by the graduates. The Times goes on to list the entire graduating class of 1889, a whopping 11 students, all of them boys. Incredibly, all 11 were three-sport varsity letter winners in, you're not going to believe this, cross-country, winter track and field, and spring track and field. Clearly, a lot has changed since then. The Pingry Academy is now called the Pingry School and is located in Basking Ridge, not Elizabeth. The class of 2017 is 138 students, 58 of them girls. The New York Times no longer publishes a full list of graduates. Fortunately, the Pingry Record does. I am struck, however, by how much remains the same. There are still declamations, readings, and recitations. Our stage is handsomely decorated for the occasion. Our commencement is still filled with the best people of many cities. The Pingry graduation, documented by the New York Times, was 128 years ago, which is longer than any of us have been at Pingry, even Spencer Spellman. But we have spent our fair share of time here, many of us sticking it out all 13 years. A lot has changed. Just visiting the Short Hills campus of the Bellaria Athletic Center is proof enough of that. We have changed. We went from playing punchball to powerball to spikeball. We went from performing on glockenspiels to dulcimers to violins. We went from not knowing anyone named Ricky Borkowski to knowing that there was someone named Ricky Borkowski to knowing exactly who Ricky Borkowski is. But consider also how much has remained the same. We went from watching Julia Dannenbaum dominate the pull-up bar as a first grader to watching Julia Dannenbaum dominate the pole vault as a senior. We saw the blue team pull a stunning upset over the white team in 5th grade. Then 7 years later, sat stunned as Jason Resnick broke ankles and drained 3-pointers in the student-faculty basketball game. We watched Miles Leandre give an extremely memorable presentation on 1970s slang in 8th grade, then give another performance that was equally memorable, albeit for different reasons, with Raina and Chris at the ISP open house on Tuesday. We sit on the precipice of great change. Maybe not 128 years worth of change, but enough. Soon, we will be attending new schools, living in new cities, and meeting new people. We will enter a world filled with new challenges, opportunities, and responsibilities. Let's not forget that some things remain the same. Let's maintain the friendships that we formed here. Let's honor our teachers, families, and the traditions of our school by continuing to live by the principles of the honor code that have guided us this far. And let's cherish the bond that unites us, the extraordinary Pingry class of 2017, with each other and generations of other Pingry students. It's never easy to say goodbye to a place you love and to people you love. But we should take comfort in the knowledge that this is not a final farewell. It's only the end of Act 1, and we can look forward to sharing many more scenes together. Thank you, and good luck to the Pingry class of 2017.
Thank you, Zach. Our final student speech today is the valedictory address given this year by class valedictorian Ellen Lee. Ellen.
Hi. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's a question that's plagued me and probably all of us since we were really little, and it's one of the first questions people ask you when you say you're a high school senior. I've been able to skate by with half-sincere answers to make people stop bothering me about it. I want to be an astronaut, I'd say, even though I think space is way too scary. But then, this fall, we had to fill out college apps. And they always ask you what you want to major in. It wasn't even binding, but I was freaking out. I wasn't ready to think about what I wanted to do and be for the rest of my life. It felt like being sheltered, carried through life on the backs of your parents, teachers, and friends, and suddenly being shoved off a cliff and told to fly. So, in my fit of nervous energy, I went to Mr. Grant. I plopped down on the couch with a groan and asked, "What should I be when I grow up?" And he just says, "How about you never grow up?" So I'm thinking, never grow up. What's the big fuss about growing up anyway? We reach some arbitrary age where our opinion suddenly matters, and we're suddenly given rights and a diploma to confirm how adult we are. We go through life counting milestones, and as we pass this one, I hope we all think hard about what it means to us. We have these symbols of responsibility no matter how adult we actually feel. But the sad part is life doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It's like in cross country where you train your heart out throughout the season, but all that preparation fades away when you're standing at the starting line. Coach tells you you're ready, whether you know it or not. And whether that's true or not, the gun goes off. The race starts and you're on your own. You can look to your teammates for inspiration. You hear cheers from the sidelines to spur you on. But ultimately, you have independence and you have agency. Your life is between you, your body, and the clock. And as certified adults, we're expected to wield that independence to make decisions, accomplish stuff, change the world. Because up here, we're a stage full of potential, full of dreamers. It's a staple of graduation speeches for me to say, I'm sure you will all go on to do great things. Instead, I'll say, I hope you will all try to do great things. And you may be thinking, but Master Yoda once said, do or do not, there is no try. Yoda is wrong. All doing is trying, and all trying is doing. If Luke Skywalker didn't miraculously dodge every stormtrooper blast, he would have only tried to stop the Empire, but he wouldn't be any less of a hero. And as rising adults, I hope you all try and take risks, define what you believe is greatness. And as Charlie Kaufman said, failure is a badge of honor. It means you risked failure. But on the other hand, I hope we'll always be children together. I hope we'll always be awed by the mysteries of the world. I hope we'll find comfort in each other because in the end, we're all just really lost. Thanks to Allie Bisgay, who bought me brownies after I'd been out of school for a month. Thanks to Frankie Dillon, who offered to be my psychologist, even though he can't spell the word psychologist. Thanks to my family for bringing me out for ice cream on school nights. I guess what I'm trying to say is that even if adulthood means independence, you don't have to do it alone. And high school has been training us for 4 years, so chances are you're ready, whether you know it or not. I'd like to end on a note of certainty. Patti Smith once wrote, paths that cross will cross again. So class of 2017, I know our paths will cross again, even if it's only in my heart. Happy graduation.
Thank you, Ellen. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jeff Edwards, class of 1978 and chair of the Board of Trustees of the Pingry School, to present the 2017 Cyril and Beatrice Baldwin Pingry Family Citizen of the Year Award. Mr. Edwards.
Thank you and welcome to all. It is my great pleasure to present this year's Cyril and Beatrice Baldwin Pingry Family Citizen of the Year Award, which recognizes individuals whose outstanding and meritorious contributions have enriched the Pingry community. This year, we honor an individual whose program, only 1 year after arriving at Pingry, was referred to by then headmaster John Hanley as, quote, a jewel in Pingry's crown, end quote. After 29 years of service, this beloved individual will make his final curtain call today, joining our newest graduates and beginning his next adventure in life. It is my distinct honor to announce the recipient of this year's Baldwin Award, retiring Drama Department Chair Albert C. Romano. Al began his Pingry career in 1988 when he was tasked with developing a drama program by John Hanley, who had met him while working at the Trinity School in Manhattan. However, Al's dramatic prowess showed itself much earlier than his time at Trinity. As a child, he ran puppet shows in his neighborhood and directed A Christmas Carol as an 8th grade student. Al received his BA in English from Villanova University and his MA in English from the University of Rochester, continuing there for his PhD in English, completing all the requirements save completing his dissertation. Since Al's arrival, Pingry's drama department went from 1 faculty member to 4, and from having no official program and sporadic productions to offering drama in the lower school, 3 middle school courses, and 5 upper school courses, with Drama Fest as an extracurricular drama offering and a yearly schedule of staged productions across all divisions. The fall play, winter musical, middle school musical, and senior play are frequently performed to sold-out audiences. Al is known for teaching his students how to listen, work with others, and read people. Fellow Magistri faculty member Lydia Giacentov once wrote, Al endlessly gives of himself to create a cooperative workshop in which critical thinking, creativity of expression, intelligent analysis, sharing of oneself with others, responsibility to oneself and to others, and most of all, for the love of the human condition as it is expressed by different writers, emerges. His students have often been surprised at the creative outlet they find through their drama classes and jump at the chance to be in the room with Al and all of his energy and enthusiasm for theater. Al is known throughout the Pingry community and has increased visibility of the arts at Pingry by collaborating with other department chairs, speaking at admissions events, and presenting to the Pingry Alumni Association Board. He challenges his advisees and their classmates to join teams of all kinds, including athletics, arts, and other interests. Al's creative vision for students at Pingry has taught literally hundreds of students the value of thinking outside the box and on their feet, how to take direction, how to give direction, and most of all, how to have a sense of humor. Please congratulate me in thanking once again Albert C. Romano, the winner of the 2017 Baldwin Award, for his pursuit of excellence.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards, and congratulations, Mr. Romano. Woody Weldon, member of the Pingry class of 1991 and president of the Pingry Alumni Association, will now present the Letter in Life Award. Mr. Weldon.
Each year, the Pingry Alumni Association has the honor and privilege of recognizing an accomplished alumna by presenting him or her with the Letter in Life Award. The award is given to an individual who, through gaining distinction and achievement in his or her professional life, has brought honor to Pingry. This award is presented annually at Commencement in front of the newest members of Pingry's Alumni Association, you. By doing so, we're not only here to recognize the achievement of the recipient, but we're also to recognize the potential we see in each of our graduates in 2017. The Alumni Association of the Pingry School presents this Letter in Life Award to Henry G. Stifel III, class of 1983. Life for Henry was forever changed in March 1982 when an automobile accident left him paralyzed during his junior year. The perseverance he has always demonstrated as a Pingry student athlete was about to be tested in unimaginable ways. Scientific research on spinal cord injuries was minimal, and financial support was lacking because the medical community just didn't see that paralysis was permanent. They believed that paralysis was permanent. Looking to prove otherwise, Mr. Stifel's family launched the Stifle Paralysis Research Foundation in 1982. Determined to graduate with his classmates, Mr. Stifle continued his studies during rehabilitation at the Kessler Institute and the Craig Hospital. He returned to campus in December, and thanks to sheer hard work and the support of faculty and friends, he achieved his goal of graduating with his classmates in June 1983. He enrolled at Wright State University in September as a student and as a participant in a 2-year paralysis research program, testing the efficacy of using electrical currents as a potential treatment for paralysis. During his years at Wright State, Mr. Stifle continued to learn about spinal cord injury and voiced his needs regarding wheelchair accessibility in order to regain his independence. Deciding to transfer to William & Mary, Mr. Stifle was initially denied admission because of the school's concerns about its own physical limitations of its campus. William & Mary soon realized that decision instead belonged to Mr. Stifle. Proving once again his ability to control his destiny, Mr. Stifle received an offer of acceptance and graduated from William & Mary with a finance degree in 1988. The Stifle Paralysis Research Foundation continued to grow, eventually partnering with the American Paralysis Association. And in 1995, Mr. Stifle became friends with a new patient at Kessler, a man just recently paralyzed from a riding accident. The patient was actor Christopher Reeve, and his friendship with Mr. Stifle eventually led to the merger of the American Paralysis Association and the Christopher Reeve Foundation. The resulting Christopher Reeve Paralysis Foundation has since become what is now known worldwide as the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Mr. Stifle serves as its vice chairman, working tirelessly in support of the foundation's mission to improve the quality of life for people living with paralysis while funding groundbreaking research in a search for a cure for spinal cord injury. With a degree from William & Mary and a passion for financial markets, Mr. Stifle was determined to return to New York City for a career in finance. Initially turned down by Morgan Stanley because of concerns regarding physical challenges and wheelchair accessibility, Mr. Stifle was eventually offered an informational interview. Seizing yet another chance to prove himself capable in the face of doubt and adversity, Mr. Stifle was hired by Morgan Stanley in June 1989 as an analyst in their public finance department. He has since moved into private wealth management, where he is now senior vice president and a certified financial analyst. Grateful for the school's support after his accident, Mr. Stifle remains an active and loyal member of the Pingry community. He served on the Board of Trustees from 2006 to 2015, and as chair of the Development Committee and member of both Investment and Building and Grounds Committees. With his valued guidance, Pingry's campuses have been made more physically accessible. Mr. Stifle has also served on the PAA board and received the Cyril and Beatrice Baldwin Pingry Family Citizen of the Year Award in 2015. The courage, endurance, optimism, compassion, and spirit that Mr. Stifle has demonstrated since his accident are qualities celebrated at Pingry each year with the presentation of the Stifle Award. Since 1984, he has returned to campus for an assembly honoring a member of our community who has faced adversity. Mr. Stifle serves as a testament to the living life to the fullest and looking at challenges as opportunities, not as obstacles. Through his determination to overcome adversity and to help thousands of others do the same, Henry G. Stifle III has earned distinction and brought honor to the Pingry School, proudly presented this 11th day of June 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Weldon, and congratulations, Mr. Stifle. Before we move to the presentation of prizes, I would like to recognize the 19 students in the class of 2017 who were members of the 13-year club, formerly known as Lifers, having begun their Pingry careers in kindergarten. Would you please stand as I read your name and remain standing, and please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Joshua Baum, Julia Dannenbaum, Gabriel Giever, John Graves, Edward Johnson, Zachary Keller, Oliver Martin, Jessica McLaughlin, Gregory Naratil, Julia Robinson, Matthew San Miguel, Anish Seth, Kartikeya Sharma, Spencer Spellman, Caroline Stilitano, Kayla Thau, James Toper, Christopher Vavaro, and Benjamin Joe. Thank you. There are two senior awards that are not presented at the awards assembly, but are instead saved for commencement. The recipients of the awards, the Magistri Laudandi Award and the Class of 1902 Emblem, are nominated and selected by their classmates and the faculty. Simply to be nominated for one of these awards is a significant honor. The Magistri Laudandi Award, in every class, there is one student who graciously gives of him or herself to help the school and fellow students, who demonstrates a personal integrity and generosity that inspires the best in others. This person's own achievements are many, yet his or her sense of purpose is for the greater good. While others may be identified as the student most likely to succeed, this person is prized as the student who helps all succeed. Let us first recognize the nominees. Please stand as I read your name and remain standing. And again, please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Connor Beard, Sophia Briones, Julia Dannenbaum, Katie Ho, Zachary Keller, Jack Laurent, Ellen Lee, Nancy Liu, Catherine Mathias, Sarah Moseson, Gabrielle Obregon, Sean Wang, and Benjamin Joe. And the recipient of the Magistri Laudandi Award is Will DeGrande. You were a nominee, but your name got left off. I don't know how that happened. The Class of 1902 Emblem is awarded to that member of the graduating class who, while in the Pingry School, by the efficiency and the amount of service and by loyalty of attitude, has done the most for the school, and who has been judged, therefore, by school fellows and faculty to have shown of them all the greatest amount of school service, school spirit. We will first honor this year's nominees. Please stand as I call your name and hold your applause. Connor Beard, Julia Dannenbaum, Will DeGrande, he was actually nominated last time too, Zachary Keller, Ellen Lee, Nancy Liu, Catherine Mathias, Jesse McLaughlin, Sarah Moseson, James Robertson, and Sean Wang. And the recipient of the Class of 1902 Emblem is Zach Keller. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Edwards to address the class of 2017. Mr. Edwards.
Today is June 11th, 2017, a very important day in the history of the Pingry School as we celebrate the graduation of the illustrious class of 2017 and welcome you into the ranks of our alumni. This you know. But perhaps you are less familiar with the importance of this date in the history of our country. For on June 11th, 1776, reportedly as witnessed by certain senior members of the Pingry Magistri faculty, the Continental Congress appointed Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston to draft the Declaration of Independence. And this, of course, represented the launch of the creation of a document and ultimately a nation whose ideas have ever since embodied freedom. Last November, sitting in an Uber in heavy Mumbai traffic on my way to a meeting, I spotted a billboard in beaming Pingry blue. Ideas create, values protect. To me, these words build on Pingry's succinct motto, excellence and honor. Excellence encompasses many things here at Pingry: superb teachers, a broad and vigorous education, and high achievement. Honor, too, has multiple meanings, of course, among them honesty, integrity, and respect for others. These twin principles frame our culture here at Pingry. I have great appreciation for both, and I hope as you graduate, you too have embraced and integrated these principles into your own personal credo. But I also like the power of the Indian maxim, because the verbs provide context. They supply the answer to the question, why ideas and values matter. Ideas create. The ambition to create is in many ways the most fundamental motivation of life. So as you go forward, your path may lead you to establish a new business or invent a new medical treatment. You might become an artist devising new ways to visually understand the world, or a chef crafting new culinary wonders. Perhaps you'll follow the path even of your own parents and form a family. Creating is what we do, and it's through ideas, through the application of one's mind, that innovation is possible. But ideas need guardrails, and this is where your values come into play. Values protect. They shield you from mistakes, sustain what should be preserved, and defend against excess. Values separate ideas that are beneficial and virtuous from those that are injurious and malign. Coming back to this day in 1776, the launch of the effort to draft the Declaration of Independence is without question one of history's most momentous examples of one of humankind's greatest ideas, freedom, and creation of a nation of extraordinary power imbued with the values to guide and safeguard it going forward. Of course, the work of creating that more perfect union was far from finished in 1776, and certainly has many opportunities for further enhancement today. But that brings me back to you. As you graduate and enter adulthood, you too will now be called upon to improve our society and indeed the world. And the first such occasion will confront you in just a few short months as you enter college. I am appalled by the forces brandished on campuses today that seek to silence freedom of speech. A week does not go by without another story at another college of another student, professor, or guest speaker being shouted down, driven out, or even physically abused. George Orwell would have been impressed, as speech is now deemed to be violence, and violence is considered to be defense. So you will be soon on this front line of this particular battle at a crucial time in history. Will you join the forces of censorship? Will you stand by and allow these forces to proceed unimpeded? Or will you seek to reverse their course and reassert this basic right, even in cases where you disagree with the viewpoint? Fortunately, I, and I think all of us in this auditorium, have great confidence in you. I know that here at Pingry, you have learned to embrace critical thinking and dialogue. You have adopted the value of respect for diverse ideas. You are fully prepared to engage in civil discourse and not retreat to oppression. Class of 2017, congratulations on your impressive achievement today in graduating from the Pingry School. Go seek great ideas and your individual path to great creativity, and do not lose sight of the values that will protect you on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Ananya Chatterjee, Director of the Upper School, Mr. Edwards and I will now present the diploma.
On behalf of the Pingry faculty, it is my honor to introduce the students who have successfully completed the Pingry School's graduation requirements. Reed Paul Allenson. Joshua Alexander Baum. Connor Hughes Beard. Ellen M. Beatty. Rose Emily Beatty. Adam Justin Bernstein. Henry Winslow Bedron. Janai Alexander Binns. Allison Taylor Biscay. Sandeep K. Biswas. Ethan Blum. William Boone. Ricky Barkowski. Ryan Patrick Boylan. Sophia Briones. Andrew Dean Brosi. Elena Elizabeth Brotman. Cameron Drake Campbell. Siyu Tao. Amanda Lynn Chelly. Tracy Elizabeth Cooper. Charlotte Blythe Kernan. Stephen H. Daigle. Julia A. Dannenbaum. Lloyd James Andrew Davidson. William G. DeGrande. Francis M. Dillon. Edward Francis Dugan IV. Taylor Danielle Dupree. Spencer T. Dury. Andrew J. Epifano. Clayton J. Galliardo. Owen Joseph Gaynor. Gabriel Philip Geaver. Peter L. Gilbert. Patrick T. Gilfillan. William Cyrus Graff. John William Graves. Joshua Eli Greer. Michael Gu. Akshina Gupta. Katie Ho. Kai Asha Holston. Stephen T. Rico. Daniel Ryan Hutt. Obi Ikoro. Edward Arbor Johnson. Amy Nicole Kaplan. William Bristow Kazel. Zachary Irving Keller. Eliza B. Keelty. Shannon M. Kurdzik. Jennifer Eve Korn. Henry Moses Cram. Akash J. Kumar. Christopher Brent Lackenauer. John Robert Laurent. Miles C. Leandre. Raina M. LeBourne. Richard T. Legrand. Cecilia Ann Lesnick. Brandon Lee. Ellen Lee. Natalie Lifson. William James Long. Nancy Liu. Lindsay Rachel Lubowitz. John Ralph Luciola. Natalie Helen Luciola. Matthew Ludwig. Caroline Ann Marone. Diego G. Marroquin. Oliver Thomas Martin. Emma Claire Marvin. Julia Michaela Mosh. Catherine F. Matthias. Jake Jameson Mayer. Jesse McLaughlin. David H. Metzger. Joshua Garrett Metzger. Lucas R. Montserrat. James Morgillen. Sophie Alexandra Morris. Sarah Ann Moseson. Jake Stephen Moss. Gregory C. Narratil. Gabrielle Jean Obregon. Claire Margaret O'Mara. Megan Claire O'Reilly. Mary Teresa Pagano. Eleanor H. Palmer. Charles N. Papandreou. James Parker. Parth Jignesh Patel. Matthew Alexander Peacock. Joseph Ricardo Pasamato. Adam Marshall present. Nicole Lauren Preziosi. Brendan Michael Raymond. Jason Zachary Resnick. Sophie Jo Ricciardi. James Aker Robertson V. Julia Mariposa Robinson. Lauren Shyama Rodney. Yelena Nicole D. Salvador. Neil Sambamurthy. Matthew M. San Miguel. Samuel Braun Sherrill. James Ryan Schiffman. Anish Seth. Kartikeya Sharma. Madeline June Schultz. Jake Michael Simon. John Andrew Smith. Kiara Smith. Spencer Charles Spellman. Caroline Alessandra Stilitano. Wesley E. Stryker. Hiba Mariam Syed. Thomas Joseph Tarantino. McKinley Lane Taylor. Kayla Morgan Bow. James Joseph Toper. Catherine M. Trejo. Emily Tung. Amanda Rose Van Orden. Christopher William Varvaro. Sean An Wang. Victoria Elizabeth Watson. Jacob Nathaniel Weiss. Jack Robert Wolfson. Sonia T. Wong. Sydney Tyler Wood. Warren D. Yermak. E. Brett Zanelli. Jennifer Lee Zhang. Benjamin Kaiwa Joe. Jeffrey Adam Zucker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Pingry's class of 2017.
Members of the Pingry class of 2017, you now have your diplomas in hand. Congratulations. Over the last 4 years, there have been many times when you have all been together as a class, in form meetings, assemblies, on class trips and retreats, and most recently on a spectacular cruise around Manhattan. But this is, quite literally, the last such time. It's a bittersweet moment. For me and for my colleagues on the faculty, it's a moment of great pride as we reflect back on the days when we first met you as 5-year-olds or 8-year-olds or as young adolescents, and we see what you have become. It is a time of hope as we reflect on the promise that you hold for the future, but it's also a moment of sadness as we let go and send you off to your next great adventure, freshman once again. I know you're eager to get on with life. You just demonstrated that very clearly. But as you sit here now in the calm before the next storm, I encourage you to take a moment and reflect. As you went through your senior year, focused on the business of being a senior, applying to college, choosing an ISP, and all the myriad other details of life, you may not have given more than a passing thought to the reality that there are thousands of schools in this country and millions of other seniors. Like many of you, they worried about the SAT and the ACT. They struggled to write college essays. They agonized over promposals. And in these months of May and June across the country, those millions of other seniors are graduating. In ceremonies like this one, with proud teachers, parents, friends, and relatives in attendance, they will receive their high school diplomas and prepare to head off to college, the armed services, or the workforce. And in many ways, in your dreams and aspirations, your hopes and your fears, you are no different than those millions of fellow members of the class of 2017. But one very important distinction sets you apart from every one of those other high school graduates. Only you are holding Pingry diplomas. Your diploma bears the name of a school and a person whose motto, which we translate as greatest respect is due students, has guided Pingry for more than a century and a half. And whether your own journey began 13 years ago here or more recently, you've had the privilege to learn and grow at a school whose commitment to excellence in every domain has been equaled only by its commitment to character and to understanding and living by the highest standards of honorable behavior. During your years at Pingry, you have worked hard. And perhaps most importantly, in doing so, you've learned how hard you can work. As much as you, and at times your parents, railed against this fact, there may be no lesson that will do more to ensure your future success. Because you understand that most successes come from hard work. But you've done far more than work hard. You've tried new things in class, in the laboratory, on stage, on the fields, and in the studios, and you've experienced both success and disappointment, taking lessons from each. You've learned the importance of humility in your successes and resilience in your disappointments. It's my hope that having arrived at Pingry determined to always give the right answer, you've learned the more valuable lesson that nothing is more important than asking the right question. Some of the facts and most of the skills that you've learned in your years at Pingry will serve you well throughout your life. But much of what you've learned and most of what you will take with you is not book learning. It is instead the intangible lessons about character, integrity, effort, and teamwork that you've learned from your teachers, your coaches, and each other. You've learned from the ethos of this school. And that is what truly sets you apart from the millions of others who graduate this year. That is what your Pingry diploma represents. There's something else that you will take with you from Pingry. Take a moment and look around you at the classmates who've been your friends, your fellow travelers, and your support system on your journey here. You've been an extraordinarily close and supportive class. Yet even so, the relationships that you've formed with each other are deeper and more durable than you can possibly know right now. You may not nourish them every day or even every year, but they will live on, there when you need them, ready for you when you are ready for them. Now take a moment and regard the faculty. I think you know that for all the passion your teachers may have for their subjects and your coaches for their sports, their chief passion is for you, their students. Those relationships too are deep, durable, and there for you as you continue on your journey. Please, members of the graduating class, join me in thanking with a round of applause the extraordinary faculty members who have so shaped your Pingry experience. Thank you. And before I conclude, there are others with us here today who, although you may not have always acknowledged it, have loved you, pushed you, encouraged you, and supported you to help make it possible for you to sit here on this stage today with Pingry diplomas in hand. I'm tremendously grateful to them because they entrusted you to us. So let me ask you to join me in a round of applause for those other graduates, your parents and families. Thank you. Thank you. Members of the class of 2017, when I addressed you at opening convocation back in September, I spoke to you about your pledge to uphold the honor code. And I reminded you that our honor code demands that each of us, each of you, take responsibility for our actions and our words. I also reminded you that our collective individual commitments to live our lives in keeping with the tenets of the honor code make this community an extraordinary place to live, learn, and grow. I'm sure that it's not escaped your attention that you are now on the verge of leaving this physical community that is the Pingry School. You are still and always, however, members of the Pingry community, a fabric that stretches around the world. And that community remains bound by its collective commitment to the honor code. As I said to you in September, the honor code asks that we live a life based on personal integrity and genuine concern for others. It asks that we honor the rights of others. And it asks that we act as responsible members of the community, working for the common good rather than solely for personal advantage. Throughout your lives, you will be confronted with countless opportunities to choose between paths. In many of those choices, it will be easy to select the right road. In others, it will be hard, sometimes very hard. The difficulty may stem from complexity, it may stem from fear, or it may stem from temptation. Whatever the challenge, I urge you to remember the bond that you have with your classmates and with the spirit of Pingry. You are members of this community, bound to each other by your shared experience, and you have a responsibility to support each other in making the best choices possible for the common good. In your time here, the choices that you have taken, the leadership you have shown, and the contributions you have made individually and collectively have left Pingry a better place. I'm grateful and I'm proud of you. But it's both my duty and my privilege to tell you that your job is not done. You may think of today's graduation as the culmination of all your hard work, the end of a phase of your lives. And to a degree, you're right. I said earlier, though, that you have learned from the ethos of this school, and Pingry is not an institution that tends to rest on its laurels. So take a little time, not too much, to celebrate your graduation, and then remember that today is really much more a beginning than an end. You're passing through an open door, and you're freshmen again. I know that we have prepared you well, and there's no doubt in my mind that each of you has astonishing potential. Yet when history judges your impact on this world, it is your accomplishments, not your potential, that it will measure. I have great confidence that your accomplishments will meet and exceed your potential, and that the world and Pingry will be better for your contributions. Life, like Pingry, demands more than your presence. It demands your full and active engagement. In accepting your diplomas today, and I note that all of you did accept your diplomas, you have committed yourselves to a lifelong pledge to honor the rights of others, conducting yourselves at all times in a moral and decent manner throughout your lives as citizens of and contributors to the larger community of the world. Members of the Pingry class of 2017, I charge you to honor that pledge, to engage the world, and to work for the common good rather than solely for personal advantage, for you are now Pingry alumni, and this is your responsibility. I know that you will justify our faith in you and our hope for the future of our country and the world. We'll miss you. Keep in touch. Congratulations.